Magic Prepper. I just wanted to go ahead and talk about one of those beginner prep items that most people seem to be still missing from their prep list, and that's going to be one of these emergency weather radios. It's just something that, a household usually has laying around, or something that, our parents from like a different era that, usually had laying around their house somewhere. But right now, a lot of people tend to overlook these because of the technology that we have, smartphones, internet, everything else that kind of keeps us connected and makes us aware of different threats from the weather, and also, just things that would be broadcast on the radio, like perhaps emergency broadcast systems. So, this is one of those items where, they're cheap, they're generic. This is the Iron Snow one, but I mean, there's a million that are all about the same. They're in the same price point, usually $15 to $20. And they do a lot of multiple functions. This one actually doubles as a flashlight. It can get you AM, FM, and weather band radio. It also has the ability to charge via solar, as well as a hand crank charging unit right here on the back. So in case you have no way to get power any other way, at least you do have a hand crank generator here. And then it does have the ability to be plugged into the wall via USB, and it can actually charge other USB devices from its charging port here on the back. So they have a lot of uses, and honestly, it's a very basic, beginner style prep. But if you don't have one, at least just get one, because it's not going to hurt anything. They're not expensive, and it does have multiple uses. Not saying I would use this in a million different scenarios, but growing up in Florida and living with hurricanes and everything else that we had down there, this was just something that was like a household item no matter what. So we'll go ahead and take a little bit of a closer look at it too. All right, so here we have a little bit of a closer view of the weather emergency radio flashlight charger, whatever you want to call it. But basically, it's just a backup item to have. This is, like I said before, the Iron Snow, which doesn't mean anything. They're all Chinese crap that you can order off Amazon for $15 to $20. But, we have a tuning knob, we have a volume knob. There's different ways to select your bandwidths here, weather, FM, and AM. We also do have an antenna, which is telescopic. So, I guess if you need to get a better signal, you're able to. At the same time, even just being in this fluorescent light I have here, that red light sitting there shows that it's actually charging. So it's accepting solar charge from just an artificial light source. So that is somewhat helpful. We'll go ahead and close this up, and then I'll show you the hand crank on the back here. Okay, so you just, let's see here, flip that out. Okay, and then if you watch, the same light that was on for the solar charging turns back on when you're hand cranking, right? So that's how you know it's charging, okay? So it charges pretty well. You can sit here for, however long you need to and build up a charge, and then use it to charge a cell phone, a walkie-talkie, any USB-related device. And I find that to be, relatively handy in case there's ever a power outage or a grid down scenario. It does have a flashlight. It's very weak. I'm not trying to give this thing any, additional credit it doesn't deserve. But the button's right here on the top, and as you can see, it does have some kind of a light source. It'd be better than being completely blind in the dark, but it's definitely not something I'm going to use as a flashlight unless it's, the only thing laying around at the time. All in all, it seems like it works pretty well. It seems decently rugged. We can go ahead and turn on the volume is the way you turn on the unit.
The regional weather forecast from your National Weather Service office in Bismarck. Clouds and scattered showers will linger across much of Minnesota today, while partly to mostly sunny.
So as you can see, it does actually operate as a radio, which is good, especially if there ever is a SHTF scenario where, possibly there's a foreign invasion, or, there's a type of war or an epidemic or something where people are scattered into different areas and don't have a way to contact each other. If you've seen the movie Red Dawn, you understand that this is how people got information during those situations in our past. They waited until the radio broadcast would come through and kind of give reports, a lot of times in some kind of secret coding. But that was the best way for people to communicate, at least, or receive messages in that way. So I think it's really handy. Like I said, my family's used them before in hurricane situations when the power's out. We can at least listen to the weather report and know when to expect the storm to clear up, or make sure we're not just sitting in the eye of the storm. But it has an application, no matter where you're at, regardless of weather scenarios or whatever else it might be. So all in all, if you don't have one of these, I feel like they're a really inexpensive investment, and that you might as well pick one up. And it's just good to have laying around. Is it in my go bag? I mean, no. Is it accessible in my house? Yes. Is it something I might grab and take with me if I was to bug out? Possibly, because I do think it has the additional advantage of having a hand crank charger on it. I do have solar charging systems for USB devices that I have in my go bags, but this one has both. So, I think it does have a home somewhere. And honestly, if you're just starting out with prepping, this is one of those really easy things you can buy that's going to do a lot of different functions for you, and I think it's a good place to start. So just kind of wanted to show that to you and give you some ideas and give you my 2 cents on how this unit works. And if you have any additional things to say, leave them in the comments below. Or if you have other items that are similar to this but work a lot better or have more functionality, go ahead and share them with me, because maybe I'm just not aware of them. So I appreciate you guys, and thanks for subscribing, and that'll be it for Magic Prepper.